Good day, students. Ms. Thomas here again. And now we're into our second lesson in the topic consumer affairs. Last class, we spoke about who's a consumer, and that's categories of consumers and how we pay for our goods and services either through credit or through cash. Now we're going to talk about factors which influence consumer demands for goods and services. What influences you to buy certain goods and services? There are many. I will just talk about 2 or 3 or 4 today. So I'll just list out what I have here and we'll just go through 3. Size of income determines your demand for a good or service. Taste patterns, savings, credit facilities, fluctuation in supply, pricing, advertising, and consumer expectations. Today we're going to speak about pricing, taste patterns, and advertising. We may touch on savings a bit. So, what influences you? When you see an item in a store, what influences you to purchase such an item? You may see a new laptop that you want. How are you going to go about purchasing such a laptop? What would influence your desire for it, or if you actually could get it? So definitely pricing is one. Pricing is one of those most important factors that influence demands for goods and services. Now, you may want a laptop and it is beyond your price range. Would that may influence if you could get the item or not, or when you could get the item. Probably you might have to wait a little while to save up to get it, or if you have cash or credit facilities, you may be able to get it immediately. If it is exorbitantly priced, some persons may be able to buy it and some persons may not. So the price of something influences what kinds of goods or services, or we might have to just do without it. There are certain things that we just do without, right? So the price of a good or a service influences our demand for, or how, if we could purchase a particular good or service. Advertising is another thing that influences our the consumer's demand for a good or service. Many times, persons who supply any good or service, they want you to purchase it. How do they go about doing that? They advertise to let you know what they have for offer. And of course, the goal of advertising would be to influence you to purchase such good or service. They would, of course, present the good or service in the best light, the best way to attract you and to influence you to actually purchase it. Take, for example, this is my video, so I could see this. Take, for example, the word is not coming out. Advertisements for alcohol. They would present you with young persons having fun, dancing, communicating with others, having a good time. Everybody's good looking, everybody's young, everybody's happy and free. Everybody seems happy with, oh, we all drinking alcohol, or we all smoking cigarettes, and so on and so on. That's the way they present, the producers of the alcohol will present their goods to attract whichever demographic they're trying to attract. Of course, it will be 18 and over. They don't put advertisements for alcohol with somebody drinking and driving and crashing and dying. would that influence you to buy alcohol? Do they put persons stumbling and falling all over the place as the advertisement for alcohol? No, they do not. So advertising is very important in suppliers trying to, or producers trying to influence you to purchase. Do they show the negative effects of alcohol use, excessive alcohol use? They do not, because they want you to come purchase the thing. Many times we sit and we may see advertisement for food. We were perfectly comfortable and not hungry, but when we saw the advertisement, it triggered something in us, and all of a sudden we want that particular food. So advertising is a very powerful tool that producers use to influence you to buy their goods or services, right? So just spoke about pricing, that influences how our demand for a good or service, and definitely advertising. It's very important. So if you become producers of any item or goods or service, you would also advertise your products in the best light to gain most consumers and, of course, well, make profit. Let's talk about savings. A consumer who is committed to saving will always think twice before spending their hard-earned savings. So someone who is committed to saving would think twice, 3 times before they make a purchase. They may mainly just purchase their absolute needs and not so much wants and on frivolous luxuries. They would be very careful on how they spend. So that influences how a consumer would spend their money on certain goods and services. So if you are somebody who is committed to saving and committed to being thrifty, you would want to make sure that your savings stays high and not dips very low where, that's not your goal. So you would think very, very hard and long before you make a purchase. Taste patterns is another thing that influences the consumer's demand for goods and services. There are certain items that are hot ticket items, trendy items. Like there are certain phones that may be popular and there are some that are not. So there are some phones, I'm just using phones as an example, so mobile phones I mean. Back in the day, there were some brands that were really, really, the in brands. And now they're not. Other brands have replaced them. The taste for that particular brand is gone. And something else has replaced it. So taste pattern also influences how we purchase. Take, for example, in Jamaica, there's jerk chicken. Jerk chicken, or you could jerk pork or any kind of meat. So the taste for jerk might be great in Jamaica as compared to in Trinidad, where we like barbecued items, barbecued food product. So it doesn't matter if it's food or if it's an item. It really doesn't matter. Taste patterns in even clothing. Some clothes may be out of style, or you wouldn't want certain things that may have been hot long ago. It's not hot anymore. Taste patterns change over time, and of course that influences the demand for a particular good or service. So again, just to recap, there are factors which influence consumer demands for goods and services. We spoke about taste patterns, savings, pricing, and advertising. Of course, there are many more that your teacher will talk about, and I'll put some in the description bar as well, so you can have a look at others that were not covered in this video. So I would just like to thank you today for viewing, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.